Oh my gosh, I love it.
Ready?
We ready.
Welcome to Monique's Mondays. I'm Meek the Invoice.
I'm Monique Elliott, your host.
And I am GINA SCHUH, your guest.
Welcome, Gina. Thank you for joining us, honey.
So excited to chat with you and learn a little bit more about your experience and you as an individual. So before we dive into the conversation, let the people know who you are and what you do. Drum roll.
Don't be too excited. I'm not a stripper, I promise. So I actually broke my neck when I was 18 years old, diving into a swimming pool. It was 2003. I was out with friends. I was in culinary school. All I wanted to do was be a chef. That was it. And I was in culinary school with a bunch of friends, and they said, come out with us. And we were all out having a good time. And I was at the edge of the pool, and I asked if it was deep enough to dive, and the guy said yes, and it was 3 feet deep. And then I broke my neck, compression fracture. So no fine motor, no tricep use, and I'm paralyzed from the breast line down. And that was 20 years ago, almost 21, which I'm like, my injury is almost old enough to drink. So, I'm like, we're solid. We will for that one. Everyone's going to get a bottle of tequila. But no, so I had my injury, and then after that, I kind of really accepted it. It was not something I hated. It wasn't something that I loathed. I was like, this is my lot in life. So I got my bachelor's in political science, and then I got my law degree. And as a quadriplegic, which was really crazy, I did a lot of advocacy. I have fought for people with disabilities, and they are my passion. I love people with disabilities. Like, I would bend over backwards for them if I could, but I can't. But you get the point. So yeah, that's who I am.
I love it. And in that process, how long did it take before you even were able to get the strength, honey, in your back, like in your back, and being able to move and become independent?
When I first was injured, I was pretty weak, but I had the same function that I do now. So quadriplegics have varying degrees of function. So the higher your level of injury, the less function you have. So if I was a C3 injury, I couldn't move anything like Christopher Reeves. Because I'm a C5 injury, that's why I have some function. Yeah. So what it was it wasn't regaining anything, it was just making everything that I had really strong. So I did 2 years of therapy, like physical therapy, to work out. It was 6 days a week, sometimes 5 to 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, just getting back into learning my new body. At 18, yeah. So that was really important to me, that I could actually be independent as I could be. Yeah. I knew that was important to me, and I went back to school after a year. So that was why I said, I'm like, I got to do this.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's called resilience.
Right.
That's called resilience.
You and I have had a few different conversations just around a lot of different subjects, but one thing that really resonates about you for me is your light. You have this light that really, it's honestly like one of the best things, because outside of all that we could sit and sulk and be in this space where woe is me, right? I feel like just tapping into your journey through social media, shout out to social media for allowing us to be social.
And to meet people.
Yes.
And to meet people. You have to understand, and I want to say this, I always want to give you a point, audience, is that it is so important that you not shut your light out. Don't shut off your goodness. I want to say that, because sometimes in shutting people out, you shut out your light. And we don't get to enjoy your presence.
Right.
We don't get to learn about you.
Right.
And we need you.
Yeah.
And so it's so special, babe, that you joined us, because we're talking about mind health.
Yes.
We're talking about mind health and the strength and the spirit of the mind and the resilience of the mind, right?
Yes.
And so tell me, love, what it was like, Gina, to be able to go to law school, to advocate for people in need. What was that like for you? Because it's on a whole nother level.
Oh, I think what people don't realize is that when you do those things, when I tell people, when I broke my body, I invested in my mind. You know, and that is what I did. You know, yes. See, she said, but it's true, because what we fail to do is recognize the strengths we have. A lot of times, you know, people beat themselves up over my legs don't work or whatever. But I was like, hey, I can go to law school. You know, I can fight for people with disabilities. You know, that's really important. My social media, I like to educate people, but I do it in a way that it's really edgy, and I don't meet the stereotype of people with disabilities. And I think that is what society needs. You know, when I broke my neck 20 years ago, there was no social media and there was no representation of people with disabilities. Nothing. Not in media, nothing. And so when I got into it, it was like, what is this life? You know, and I was like, no, I learned so much from other people that had gone through it. And I said, I looked at the ones that I admired and I said, I'm going to do what you do.
Come on.
Yeah. That's what you do. And my parents built me up, and all those little things that I did along the way built my confidence. And I say, you have to build your confidence before you build anyone else's.
Right.
You know, like your praise comes genuinely from a place of love when you love yourself.
Yeah.
So like, I really believe that. And that's why, you know, when I did it, I was like, my mom always said, you choose happiness.
Yeah.
You choose
Talk about that a little bit. Like, just your experience for an individual who, you know, maybe they just are.
It's ironic that you're talking about this. I just saw one today. I get reached out to a lot on my social media. So anyone who follows me, like I reach a few million accounts per month, at least minimum. At times I reach 10 million people a month. So I reach a lot of people and I get a lot of new injuries. And the Phoenix Valley is actually a hub for spinal cord injuries because we're flat.
really?
We're very accessible. We're new, we're flat, we're warm, no snow. It's great. It's great.
makes
Yeah,
sense,
it's great for us. Yeah. People with disabilities, we love it here. So that's why you can never get handicap parking. Anyway, but FYI, I'm always like, But so like, you know, I just saw a new one today, and she's, they stuck her in some horrible wheelchair and she needed a loaner. And I reached out to the community. That's like a wonderful little hub.
Lord.
And they were offering me chairs, and I took one and I saw her today, and she's like, I haven't left the house. And I said, get outside. You know, like real stern, just like, come on, girl. And she's like, I know. I said, what is it? You just don't like the chair? And she's like, you know, I'm afraid that I'll get stuck. I can't get back in. I can't do this. And I said, you got to get over that. Because
Is she new?
brand new, 7 months into it, fresh. And she doesn't even have her permanent wheelchair, so she doesn't have her permanent legs, okay? Imagine if you're walking around on noodles. It doesn't work well. And so she's really struggling, and I told her, it's a choice.
Yes.
You know, passivity is the worst thing you can have as someone with a spinal cord injury.
As someone, period. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Period. As someone, period. And isolation.
Yes.
Isolation will swallow you.
Yes.
It's a monster, loves. I've experienced it before in my life. Isolation can swallow you up because you become adjusted to it. Listen, we become adjusted to isolation. You can become comfortable with just being alone, comfortable with staying in, comfortable without taking chances. And
Comfortable without confrontation. So you never question your thoughts. So there's no accountability. When you isolate yourself, you have zero accountability with humanity.
Ooh,
And I'm always
honey,
like,
come on now, Gina.
That's why you hear those crazy thoughts and no
Come on
one
now.
corrects
Our
them.
audience is snapping. Our audience is snapping too. Y'all been missing out. We've been having audience, okay? I'm excited. Yes.
If you want to show up, we do film every Thursday.
Yes.
We'll screen you to make sure that you can be on set. But yeah, this is what we do here. But I mean, that is a great point, because it is physically and mentally, for lack of a better term, debilitating.
Oh, very much so.
And we often talk about, being debilitated only in the physical body, right?
Yes.
But
You can be
but
more disabled mentally.
would you say that, honey?
Yes,
Yes, 100%. And not to take away from the physical,
not
but
at
it's the reality that we limit ourselves with no reason to do so.
Right.
There's no reason for us to limit ourselves.
Right.
There's no reason for us to be able to not do so many of the things that we really can do.
Right.
No, it's true. You know, I think a lot of times people actually don't think about their mental health when they're going through such a physical change too.
Yeah.
They really neglect the mental health because their physical change makes such a big difference. They're going to all these appointments. They're like, I'm seeing my doctor. They think I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but they leave out the one thing that matters the most, and that's the brain. And when somebody is going through a new injury, the first thing they don't think about is, I need therapy. And it's
Yes.
not covered.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Physical therapy, some of it is, but mental therapy, a lot
No.
of people, they do not get coverage for
It has to come through a special insurance. Yes, it has to come through a special
So they
insurance.
can't afford it. You know, you're putting them in a place they can't afford it. Yeah.
I know that you're a really big advocate for the community in general, and with the conversation the first discovery conversation that we had, you have to follow her Instagram. And real shameless plug, what's your Instagram name?
Oops, I broke my neck.
Really easy to remember, but as far as some of the like real hurdles, can you talk about that? Because I know you have quite a few different initiatives that you're working on. So let's talk about some of those things, because number one, the fact that any type of therapy and for that is
Coverage is rough. So, unfortunately, coverage is really rough, especially people, once they have their injury, they lose their job. So they lose their insurance and they're back on access. And access really limits your access to mental health. So what happens is a lot of them are then forced to not partake like they would have had private insurance. So it's a really rough road, and it's kind of a spiral. Also, a lot of them are not just thinking about that. Personally, my initiatives right now, though, I really want to get transportation pushed up for people with disabilities, and that is having hand controls covered by insurance.
Yes.
The fact that it's not blows my mind, because that gives people, public transportation for people with disabilities is pretty much non-existent. We get denied Ubers all the time. We get told, sorry, we won't let your wheelchair in here. Like, I know people don't, it's hard to believe, but it happens often. And so we don't get public transportation like we don't have access like everyone else does, And so having hand controls will give people the ability to access their doctors, things that bring them joy, mental health.
Yes.
Mental health stuff, being able to go to their mom's birthday, they've missed the last 4 birthdays because they couldn't get transportation. That kind of stuff. So I'm really pushing for that. My own personal thing, I had a really big fight with the town of Gilbert over a big chunk of land, and that's where a lot of my followers come from. They're not just people with disabilities. They're actually a lot of able-bodied people willing to be open and learn about disability, which are not my favorites, because they're all my favorites, but they're my favorites, but I love it. Like, I'm proud of people that are able-bodied that don't know anything about disability that say, tell me more.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly. And just the mere fact that we even had to move venue, not because of something's wrong with you. No, nothing's wrong with you. Wrong in the sense of, no, it's on us, meaning the facilities, the places that we come. You know what I'm saying? That we have to be able to have that available. We cannot keep working linear, that everything is one way. We can't. That's all of us, myself included. That's all of us. We have to remember that other people, no matter what, the way we look, the way we walk, we don't walk, the way we speak, don't speak. We have to be able to be inclusive of everyone.
And there's a benefit to society. I mean, these people will be tax-paying citizens. You won't be paying for them to live.
Right.
They're forced to do this because if they start to live another life and work, then they get penalized.
What?
Yes, they lose their benefits if they make more than about $1,600 per month. And who can live on that today?
Yes, no one.
Nobody.
And that's those that are disabled and not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's as if someone's afraid someone's going to get rich from buying food, getting food and clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't get both now.
Or health
Your
care.
health care in itself, right?
Yes.
Don't give me, but the mind health is so important because it helps us not to give up.
Yeah.
And also retraining. It's so important to be able to know you still have purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
That no matter what's happened, there's still purpose for you.
Oh, there's purpose for every single person.
Exactly.
Purpose.
Purping. We're purping, right? So being able, even in that, Gina, to sit down how you knew, okay, I'm not going to go in culinary right now in my life. Let me go into law.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need a person or persons around us to be able to help our minds to function and figure out, wait a minute, let me regroup.
Right.
Okay, you mean to tell me I'm good at this, I'm still good at this, whatever that looks like.
Right.
100%.
I'm curious as far as your experience because, again, your light is absolutely amazing. I don't think I've seen you complain, heard you complain. I mean, I've heard you bitch and moan,
Yeah,
but for just cause, but not, never loathing. So has there ever been a point in the last 20 years where you have found yourself in a space where you had to pull yourself back up, for lack of a better term?
As I do my
You're good.
Okay, so the question.
It's because she said it.
I know.
You haven't said it, honey.
Yeah, that's so funny.
The question was, has there been in the last 20 years
moment.
a space, where you felt like you had to pull yourself back up?
I would say when I was fighting for my property and like my attorney, who I thought was on my side, was telling me it was impossible. And, a lot of people were like, I don't know if you can do it. And I knew inside in my gut I could, but I was being doubted by the people that normally I would think would have faith in me. And so, my family was really supportive, but also cautious because they're like, don't waste too much time or money or effort in something that might be a losing battle. And it was really hard for me because nothing in my life has ever felt like it was a losing battle.
Okay.
Even my injury, I was like, I can challenge myself with this to do something great, because I am a humanist and I care greatly about people and making the world better, and that's something that I saw an opportunity. So even my injury, I kind of felt like this is what I'm meant to do. You know, it wasn't like this is the worst thing that has ever happened. I still had my brain. And then the biggest thing is really my mom really laid it down for me. She was like, look around you. There's people that have serious challenges. Every day, wake up with an attitude of gratitude. She really pushed me. And the biggest thing for me is, attitude of gratitude. Okay, if something sucks, you think about something that's great. And, a lot like if you're going to be critical of someone, give them 10 compliments. Do that to yourself.
What it is, girl.
Do it to yourself.
Ooh.
You do that for everyone else.
You telling facts, girl.
Yeah, true.
You're telling facts right now. We are forever taught to do good to others.
Right.
Yeah.
Gina, thank you. We are taught that, but we are looked at as selfish
Yes.
for doing good to ourselves.
Oh, I think it's the best thing.
Yes, I tell my clients, you need a wall of celebration.
Yes.
You need to put up accolades about yourself. You need to remember where you've come from and the things you've done. It's internal encouragement.
Oh, yeah.
And you have nothing to pour out when you're bitter.
We have never had this many bloopers.
We have not.
I was lucky.
Girl, y'all got my stomach hurting. Oh, have mercy. Laughter is important. Listen.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's
Coming
huge.
from the girl that has a license plate that says cripple. Yes,
Uh,
please.
Okay, so
She said,
Wait,
"Giga."
so-
She said,
yes, let's talk about some of your secret sauce. I feel like that's your secret sauce is the different ways that you cope, different coping mechanisms and different ways of finding that silver lining and turning things around, because outside of the advocacy, outside of literally being selfless and really, really putting yourself out there to benefit others, you have your art, you have your comedy.
Oh, tell me about your
Yes.
back, Gina.
oh, thank you. Thank you. No, I'm an acrylic artist. I actually, what everyone really got to know me from is my pop art. That is erotica pop art. Yes, erotica. And my first gallery show, I got back into art during the pandemic. I swore off the television and I swore off any Netflix. I didn't watch anything. And I just painted. And I got myself back into painting. It was just so much healthier. The news was so unhealthy at the time, and I recognized that. It was not a place that I needed to be, and I wanted to be in a little happy place in my bubble like I needed to be to survive the pandemic, you know?
Yes.
And so I started painting, and I got really back into it, and I started loving it. And I ended up submitting my stuff to the Tucson Erotica Art Show. They showed my artwork. They had about 42 pieces that sold. 3 of my pieces accounted for 25% of the revenue, and they sold out.
Go, baby!
Yeah.
Congratulations,
So I was so proud, and that was my first gallery showing, and then I got accepted into LA, and then I'm currently working on a collection. I want to be at a gallery, and that's my next goal. And then I do real estate. That's what I do, and a lot of people, knowing me, I think talking about confidence in the foundation, it is truly about laying your foundation, knowing that you can do something. When people were telling me, no, you can't, and
Come
you're
on
like,
now.
watch me,
Right.
That
hold
was
my
your
beer,
fighting words.
yeah.
You were
And
like, those were your fighting words.
but that's kind of been my motto the whole time I've had my injury. When I was newly injured, they didn't know a lot about spinal cord injuries, and they told me, you can't go to school for full time. Don't take more than 9 credits. These are my therapists. These are my physical therapists at the time. And back when they covered it, a lot of it. And they said, don't go. And I came back the next day and they go, what'd you sign up for? I said, 12 credits.
Yes.
Don't tell me no.
Yes.
And then watch me get accepted to law school. Watch me graduate.
And watch you
and
watch you determine what you can do.
Yes. That's the
Watch-
thing.
For all of us, that's anyone.
I think what you were talking about, when you talk about my stuff, when you watch my social media, the one thing I care greatly about is that each person with a disability feels like an individual, not like a disabled person.
Yeah.
Because they are still an individual,
Yes.
completely.
Yes. Without labels. What I hear you saying is, let's stop the labels. We acknowledge this has happened to you, but this is not who you are.
Right.
This is not
Don't
who
let it define you.
exactly. And
Right.
that, yes, because that's right.
See, that's my thing is I actually,
Girl, I'm going to keep.
perfect.
Yes.
One time. No, one time I had a guy tell me actually, and he was a able-bodied man. He's a white guy in his 50s. And he told me one time, I was talking about my disability stuff that I've done I'm really passionate. He says, don't let that define you. And I said, but it does define me. It does define me. I actually think denying that part of you is the worst thing you can do for yourself. It's loving that part of you as a new part of you.
Right.
And letting it define certain aspects of your life, but not letting it take away
not
who you
limit.
were.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Don't let it limit
Also,
you.
allowing you to get more from it. Allow it to open up avenues,
Right.
windows,
Right.
doors. It can do things for you.
Of course. No, I think that's super important because as an individual, no matter woman, race, and I think that's the conversation that we had.
Recognizing each other's struggles. And right, not denying that struggle and saying, how can I help you defeat that struggle?
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. You know, we
love
were
it.
talking about that.
Village, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Creating that sense of village, creating that community, creating that space that really fosters transparency to say, okay,
Yes.
I'm going through this, sis. Like, I need
Yes.
help. Like,
Yes.
And
I
being
think-
honest about it. Being honest to say I need help. Being able and not looking at it as a weakness, no matter if it's
Right.
a physical disability or a mental disability.
Right.
Being able to say I need help.
right. Or
And
even a financial hardship, because
Yes, true. This
I
is
think-
truth
I
too.
think a lot of times where we're at right now, you know, just being independent in whatever way, shape, or form, a lot of that financial stuff comes up too. And so
Yeah.
it's asking for help when you need help.
Yes, but also being a safe place so people can ask
Yes.
for help
Yes.
with you,
Yeah.
right? And there's a difference. There's a difference between enabling and then needing. There's a difference.
Yes.
And being open to listening and saying, you know what? I know you're struggling.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, because everyone's not going to stay down.
No.
Everyone, just like you said in the beginning of this, Gina, I can get down, but I'm getting up.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm making it happen, right,
You
honey?
do. You have to.
Yes.
I mean, you only have two choices.
Yes.
And one of them is great, and the other one we all know. We've
Yeah.
seen them. It's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
like the happy. I love my life. You know,
Oh, I love it.
I love my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's not anyone's doing but my own, and building and having a wonderful support system.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the people in my life that support me are equally responsible for my happiness, but not in the sense that they have to make me happy, but they do it by being just wonderful people.
Right.
So we just want to thank Gina for joining us today. I thank you for being a part of Monique's Mondays.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, sweetie, thank you so much.
I
thank
just
you.
feel like I need to
I
come over
feel
to
like
your
you
house for dinner.
you need to,
I
girl.
wanna
Come
go
on,
to
baby.
Okay.
We're going to Ray's kitchen. Yeah. That's part of our studio audience, girl. Yes, y'all better watch me in studio audience. We might come over your house for dinner.
Right.
And so, yes. Oh, okay. You are culinary. Gina can cook, she said too. Okay. And I can tell she likes to dance. I love dancing.
Yeah. You know we love. You know we
Okay, so Gina's a part of the tribe. I can tell she likes to dance. We say goodbye. I say goodbye with love. I thank you for being a part of us. I pray you are inspired, and go out and do something good for yourself, and then do it for somebody else.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Love that.
Thank you, babe. So good.
So good.
It's like everything in his mama came alive.
They
On
said,
the ground.
it's time.
They showing out.
They got you mad. Ray said, "Come on."
I know where my thought was. Okay, so
How your mom pushed you.
yes,
A few minutes later.
He's trying to write.
she's about to add one to the list.
Girl, chills is
Setting her up for success.
Girl. Oh, Dominique, girl, help me, Jesus, God knows. Jenna, I cannot, girl. I'm gonna be to hurt some people. Oh, me and Ray, I done pulled the studio audience. Ray, we about to get some people, Ray. Ooh, okay. Oh, girl, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna keep it too long. Okay, I'm clowning. Gina got me over here clowning because. getting ready to wrap it up.
Oh, that's perfect. My parking mobile's yelling at me. I'm like, I
Yep,
put
we're
you
getting
on
ready to wrap it
airplane
up,
mode.
baby.
That's what I was saying. I was like, what is that? That was saying, come on. I thought it was an emergency. That's hilarious.
Her face.
Because all the episodes we've ever done, they just gonna clown today. They just gonna clown today.
I love it.